welcome to episode 47 of Fluffy Fibres, the French podcast in English on sewing, knitting, spinning and living green, all of course with the occasional help of a kit of the house. My name is Isabelle and you can find me everywhere on social media and Ravelry as Fluffy Fibres, and you will find the show notes for this episode as for all of the episodes, all 47 episodes of the podcast on fluffyfibres.com. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Welcome to new viewers, and to returning viewers, thank you so much for bearing with me coming back today after this pause, this break that I took as I was having a baby and dealing with various family things. So thank you very much, and I'm so excited to be back today. So this podcast today is September 2nd, 2016. My baby is 2 months old. He turned 2 months yesterday. He was born on July the 1st. He's doing extremely well, really well. He's really flourishing. And my daughter started school yesterday, so that also is a reason why I'm able to come back today. That being said, this podcast probably won't be as edited as the previous podcast, and also I will probably have to do this. I will most definitely have to do this in several takes because my baby doesn't nap for very long. So we'll see. We'll just have to see and go with it. And also, I know I won't be having as much time as usual to edit it. So I usually do my best to edit superfluous things out so that the podcast isn't so long, too long, but I probably won't have time to do that this time, so we'll see. And obviously I have tons to talk to you about since I haven't been podcasting for 2 months. So I do hope you're all doing really well after this break, and I wanted first and foremost to thank so warmly every one of you who has been so kind and thoughtful, not only after my latest podcast where I shared some difficult news with you, but also on the birth of my son. So I really wanted to tell you this has meant so much to me. All the messages that I've received on Instagram, on Ravelry, personally, privately, even by post, because some of you were kind enough to send some, things to cheer me up, but also some amazing things for the baby and for my daughter and for me. So to all of you, I just wanted to say thank you so very much. And I was just quite overwhelmed with the number of people responding when I announced the birth of my son as well. That was just absolutely wonderful. So thank you so very much. My son is napping right there, so this little curtain that you're seeing is actually his cot's curtain. So yes, I will, if I have time, I will be doing a longer life update at the end of the episode, so that those of you who are here for the knitting and sewing content, you can get what you want at the beginning. So today I will, the segments will be a handmade wardrobe, a bit of sewing, a bit of knitting, a bit of crochet, a bit of spinning, and Happy Mail Day. So for a handmade wardrobe, I'm wearing a dress that I already wore on the podcast when I was pregnant, which is the Amber Nursing Top or Dress by Megan Nielsen. And I have been wearing these dresses. I have 3 of these, and I have been wearing them non-stop since the baby was born, really. They are just the best for nursing, and they're so comfortable, and I just love them. I really feel smart in them, pretty in them, so that also is a big plus when you've just had a baby. So yes, and I actually do plan on making at least one more, or probably a couple more, but with long sleeves and tunics, as tunics, not dresses, for the autumn season, because I really have been living in these in these dresses. So for a bit of sewing, I have quite a lot to share, so I'm going to try and not be too, try and not drag too much about each project. So first of all, you have 3 sewing projects that I finished there for my kids, my 2 kids now. So first of all, I made this for my daughter. So this is the roller skate dress by Oliver+S, and I've been interested in these patterns, this line of patterns, which are really very elegant and well-made couture patterns, really, for children. I've been interested in this line for years, and I never got around to trying them, and I finally did, and I'm really very impressed with it. So it needs pressing, this dress, but I won't. I'm not in a position at the moment to be pressing clothes, so yes, I'll just, like next time I wash it, I'd make sure it's nice and, laying nice and flat. But my daughter chose the fabric. She picked the fabric when we went to the fabric store, and it's completely her. So it's a bright turquoise, plain, solid fabric. It's pretty long because I want this to last, and it is lined, and I am very impressed with the Oliver+S patterns. So you see there's a little button and a keyhole opening here. It's very comfortable with the waist, the elasticized waist. She loves it, she really loves it, and it's pretty elegant looking really on her. If you follow me on Instagram, you must have seen this. I think it was the last picture I posted before I had my baby, was of my daughter wearing this and my wearing one of my handmade dresses in the same colour. And so it is fully lined, and yes, as I was saying, I'm super impressed with the Oliver+S patterns. They're really expensive, these patterns. I think they're about $15 or even $16 for a PDF pattern, which I find is pretty hefty, but they are so detailed, and you have so many details to make this a truly couture garment. So it does take some time, even though this looks pretty simple. It is time intensive, there is a lot of fiddling around, but I think it's completely worth it because you really end up with a beautiful garment. So yes, it is. Let me see if I can turn this around inside out, so you can see the inside, but it's just the same really. It really looks very neat, as you can see. So I used some turquoise thread, so you can see it, of course, at the waist. But yeah, so the 2 linings are separate, and of course it adds a lot of body to the skirt as well, which is pretty nice. So yes, that's one thing I made for my daughter. And then I tried another Oliver+S pattern for my son, and it was the Lullaby layered. This is the last thing I made before I had him, actually. So it's part of the Lullaby layered, also by Oliver+S, and this was just so time consuming. It's so small, isn't it? But it just was incredibly work intensive. Okay, so first cut. My son woke up, so he's now just happily looking his heart out in his crib, or cot rather. But yes, so I was talking to you about this little number, which is the bodysuit from the Lullaby layout by Oliver+S. And yes, as I was telling you, this was really work intensive because it's just, again, wonderfully, beautifully finished. And the fabric for this was sent to me by my best friend Julie. Hello Julie! And it's just adorable little hedgehogs and mushrooms, and just completely adorable, and just the colours that we love as well. And I have a ton left as well, so that's great. It means I can make him some more clothes for when he's bigger as well. And yes, so it is elasticized at the thighs, at the legs, and you have some plackets with some snaps for the for easy access for the nappy, at the bottom you have also this placket, which was very work intensive, this placket, and it has some bias binding as well. Yeah, but it's really lovely, and you also have this neat little pleat at the back so that you have extra ease at the back, really. And yeah, I'm glad I made it because it's going to be a nice keepsake, I think, for us, this little bodysuit. Yeah, and then I was able to make something after the baby was born, because you know, the very first couple of weeks the baby sleeps a lot more than afterwards, and so you do have a bit of time. And so because it was so very hot, this summer has been excruciatingly hot here in Montpellier, and of course we've had to stay here most of the time because we had a baby, and it was just horrible. And it's still, today is going to be again 35 degrees, which is just horrible, and I'm just so tired of this heat. And I'm not cut out for this, you know, I'm from the north of France, and I'm just not cut out for this at all, really. But anyway, I made this cute little romper, which I really love, and this is the rolled hem romper by Brindille and Twig, which is a wonderful little website with tons of sewing patterns, you know, modern, fun sewing patterns for kids, really. And I really love this pattern. It's very easy, very practical because of the snaps here, and so it's very easy to put on and off from the baby. And yeah, and the fabric is very special because it was given to me by Nim, who is Nimpin on Ravelry and Instagram, and if you don't follow her, you really should, because she's just lovely, and she crochets a lot, and she makes a lot of these sweet clothes as well for kids. And this is an organic fabric as well from Germany, Le Stoff, and it's adorable little whales, which I just absolutely love. And for the ribbing, I happen to have a bit of this yellow, greenish yellow, or a very warm green organic fabric as well, knit fabric lying around, so that was great. I think it really is really cute. It picks out the little drops on top of the whales, so I think that's lovely. I just put the fan on because it was just horribly hot, and I do hope it doesn't pick up too much on the camera. If it does, I'm just sorry, but we have to survive here in the heat. But yeah, so the last thing I made in terms of sewing was a blanket for my baby, a flannel blanket, because I'd made one for my daughter, and she's been really wonderful with sharing things with her brother, things that I made for her when she was a baby. But this particular blanket she still uses a ton for her own toys, and she wasn't keen on my using it for the baby, which I completely understand, and she really loves it. So, you know, you do grow attached, I think, to this kind of blanket when you're a small child. So I made one for my son, and it is self-bound with the backing fabric. The two fabrics are from American collections. They're not from the same collections. I'm very happy with the way they match though. Look at that. So it's little giraffes and dots. So they're not from the same line, but I really think they work well together. I was really pleased about that. And yeah, so I got them from a French website which has loads of imported fabrics and very nice fabrics as well. And they do have a wonderful sampling service, which is free. And that's how I was able to match these two so well. So it's Ma Petite Mercerie. The fabrics on that site are pretty pricey because they're nice designer fabrics, and they have great quality clothing fabrics as well. But you can pick, you get your fabric cut in 10 centimeter increments, which means that you get just what you need, and that was the case for this. I needed less than a meter for each of the fabrics. So in the end, I mean, of course it is still pricey, but it's much more interesting than other websites where you can only get 1 meter cuts at least, you know. So yes, that's it for my sewing project. The baby is now on his little mat on the floor, and he's completely fascinated with our bookshelves at the moment, looking at all the books. So if you can hear some cooing in the background, that's him just being fascinated with all the books. So yes, let me put this back here for a bit of a background for you. Yeah, so that's it for my sewing, for all the sewing that I did. And then I did receive some lovely fabrics, which I'm so excited about, and this is where I'm going to talk about a very exciting sew-along that we're going to host in the autumn. So I think I mentioned this last episode or in the previous episode, but Gerard Brandvik, who is the author of Quilting As You Go, Made Modern, which is a fantastic book, and I'm sure you've all heard of it if you've been following the podcasts, you know, podcasting world. I was introduced to this book by Sarah of Love Suck Wool, the Love Suck Wool podcast, who is just so inspiring. Gira came out with her own brand of fabric, and I was made aware of this by Shawl now, Adelaide Cottage, who has the Adelaide Cottage podcast and Etsy shop. Sarah also has an Etsy shop where she sells amazing project bags. And so we started chatting together very excitedly on Instagram by DMs, direct messages. And so we decided to have a little quilt along or sew along. And so I got some of the fabrics that just came out in the shops in the US, not in France, unfortunately. And so I was very careful in what I wanted. You know, I really planned things, if you want. So I got the charm pack first of all, because these are, I'm going to take it off the package. These are just, I think they're really a wonderful way to get the whole fabric collection in a very affordable format, because this is less than $10 really. And so you have all the fabrics in there. Let me show you. They are just wonderful fabrics. So it's a high tea collection, and so you do have some teapots and things in some of the prints, but actually these are not my favourite prints. They're lovely, but my favourites are all either the strawberry fabrics or my favourites are the tiny florals in the collection, which are just so delicate and pretty, as you can see, just so pretty. And so you get all these prints in various shades. So there's this white, then there's the oh yes, and then you have some background fabrics such as this kind of medallion lace, I think it's called. Really lovely. So you have some white, then you have some tan, which is so lovely. I really, really like this shade. Then you have some, some dusty pinks as well. So cute. I really love this combination of dusty pink with red. I think it's just so pretty. And then you have some reds, and Gira says on her blog that this is her favourite colour. So she was really excited about these. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. There you go. And then you have some yellows, which are really, really nice. I'm not much of a yellow person, at least not in clothing, because it just doesn't suit me. But this shade is just so pretty for home deck, I think. To have also some bigger florals like this. So very nice yellows. And then you've got some, lovely minty green. Minty green shades. Look at that. And lastly, you've got, of course, what is my favourite shade is the duck egg blue. You know I love blue. So just to give you a few examples, in the, well, I can show you that later, yeah. Large floral, and the small floral as well. So yes, all in all, in a truly lovely collection. And so I got this, I got a couple of the mini charm packs as well, which are, I think, $4 each. And I'm going to make some mug rugs with them, and probably a project bag as well. You know, patchwork project bag. So I'm very excited about that. And I got a few half-yard cuts to go with them. So I got this strawberry with the yellow background, which is so nice, I think. I got the, of course I had to get the duck egg blue with the small floral. That has to be my favourite in the whole collection. And I really like this taupe as well, or mauve. Really lovely. And then I got some of the tea pots and teacups in the blue background. And that will probably make a project bag as well, so exciting. So my plans with these is to make small manageable projects in my current lifestyle, life schedule. So we have been discussing about talking about this with my friends Shawl and Sarah, and we're going to host a joint quilt along / sew along, and maybe each of us will focus on different projects. And I will be focusing on small projects. And I'm thinking, because these are really hard to get in Europe, at least, probably in Australia as well, or New Zealand, I'm thinking, I don't want to impose to, it's not compulsory to have this particular fabric collection. I think if you have anything that is shabby chic inspired, or tea inspired, you know, small florals, subtle shades, I think it works, it will work. Just this kind of spirit, of high tea spirit, of, you know, cozy, shabby chic, I think. And my sew along is going to be, or you can also make a tea inspired project, and I'm going to make a mug rug, and that would be a lovely project, I think, for this sew along. So yes, the rules are going to be pretty loose, because the point is really to have fun and just inspire one another and just get happily into the autumn season for those of us who are in the Northern Hemisphere and longing for cozy, cool days, as I am, really. So yes, so we will be posting some more details. We've been discussing fun prizes as well, so just be on the lookout on all of our podcast groups on Ravelry, so Love Suck Wool, Adelaide Cottage, and my group Fluffy Fibres, which I didn't mention at the beginning of the podcast. But yes, there is a group for the podcast where you can chat, and especially, you know, chat about this particular episode, so that we can get the ball rolling, and so you can really have a conversation, you know, about the podcast, which is really the whole point of this. So yes, be on the lookout for that. We're thinking of starting, I'm thinking either 1st of autumn or October. Yeah, I keep smiling because I know I say autumn, and apparently I can't help myself. And Ellie, my friend Ellie of the Good Hearts podcast, who used to be F&I podcast, she it's actually autumn, and so it really makes her smile when I say autumn. And she actually named one of her kittens after that, so that's really sweet, very fun. But yeah, apparently I can't stop myself, and I can't help saying autumn instead of autumn. So that was a huge digression, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, very happy about these fabrics, very excited to be hosting a new sew along with friends, which is even more fun. And of course you can double dip, triple dip in all of the groups to have more fun, to make new friends, and of course to get more chances to win prizes. I think I will have at least one prize, maybe a couple. One of the prizes will be this gorgeous skein that was sent to me very kindly by Oliver+S. I will be talking more about her in a minute when I talk about my spinning, but this is a gorgeous skein that she sent me for the podcast, and it's called Gentle Elegance, which I think is perfectly in keeping with the theme of the sew along, and also in terms of the shades as well. This is just so gorgeous. So you have pinks and purples and greyish taupe, I would say, just absolutely stunning. And so this is a skein of her Cuddly Owl, so it's 100% superwash merino, 400 meters, 400 grams. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And Jenny, who is the owner of Owl+S, has an Etsy store, and she's in Wales, which is lovely. And I love her logos, so cute. So yes, so that will be one prize. I will probably have a charm pack as well as a prize. I just have to choose which one. But yeah, so very exciting things to kick off this new academic and school year. So for a bit of knitting, I've finished a ton of things, really. I can't remember if I'd finished my cameo shawl last time or not, but I didn't bring it, so never mind. I revived a hibernating project. I started this in October of last year, I believe, and it just wasn't growing. I just wasn't into it anymore. It is the Featherweight by Handmade, which you know, a pattern which you all know, and I knit this out of a lace weight silk merino yarn, which is a 2-ply, and I used this project bag for it. I think it went so well together. And I knit this out of One Twisted Tree lace, and it's her Hinky Punk colourway, which is a tonal yarn with a grey under layer and then a purple layer. So really lovely colours, really very much my shades. And so yeah, so I picked this up before my son was born, probably a couple of weeks before. So there was the sleeves were left, and so apparently it took me 2 months to knit the sleeves after my baby was born. But anyway, it's done now. I really love it. It's very lightweight and airy, and it will be a perfect layer for fall here. So I'm very happy. I'm going to very quickly put this on, but take it off as soon as I'm done talking about it, because I'm going to swelter in this. So there you go. It hits me at hip, really at the hip bone. So yeah, I'm really happy about this cardigan. I think it's lace weight garments. I really like them. I think they make a lot of sense in Montpellier, really, because you need to use a lot of layers in the fall and the winter, because it can get really chilly in the morning, and then by noon, because the sun is shining, it gets a lot warmer. So it's great to have thin layers, really, to peel off. So yes, that's my first finished object. And in my project bag I had I made myself a little lavender pillow, which I felt was really nice, because this is very much a lavender shade, and it was just so soothing to have this in there. So yes, I also cast on socks before the baby was born, specifically for the hospital, to get a mindless project, and it is my Bergère de France Gummy 50 imprimé beige socks. So I knit the heel, I turned the heel for the first one. I'm using my zings for this, 2.5mm zings. And I'm using contrasting heels, cuffs and toes. It's also Bergère de France. I think it's the goat, chèvre colourway. And I used I did a modified Eye of Partridge socks for the heel, which is in the Hermione's Everyday Socks pattern by Erica Luda on Ravelry. So yes, I'm trying to match the two socks. So this is, I'm sure you all know about this yarn, but... So I'm trying to match the two socks. I'm not sure I'm succeeding yet, because it was really hard to actually find the pattern repeat in the second ball. So we'll see. We'll see. So I'm not very far up because I haven't touched this. Actually, this is in my purse most times, but when we're out and about, I really don't have time to knit at the moment. So I really haven't touched this really since the baby was born, I think. But that's okay. It can, you know, I can pick it up whenever I want. It's completely fine. I have a much more laid back attitude to my knitting at the moment. I have several whips and I just don't care. I just need my knitting to completely relax me at the moment. It's my ultimate treat, my me time, and I'm not going to feel guilty about starting a project that makes me happy at the moment. So it's completely okay. I will pick it up when I do, and that's fine. So yes, and this is in my another bag I made out of Toile de Jouy fabric, which I love Toile de Jouy fabric. And it actually matches my tablet cover. And there's a little stitch marker here, a progress keeper, which was sent to me by Little French Meadow with my order a few months ago. Not sure if you will see that. It says, it's a little heart that says thank you. I think I'm going to take a break now and be back in a minute. Okay, I think this will be the most discombobulated episode ever. But yeah, that's the way it is. I just had to take a long, good break. Baby is hopefully napping again for a bit of time so I can finish this podcast. But that's the way it is. I'm sure you will all be understanding. If you're a new viewer, it's not usually this cut out. I'm sure there will be so many cuts in this episode, and I do apologise. It's not usually like that, but yeah, that's life for me at the moment. And I'm so excited to be here chatting with you. A month ago, I joined the Shawl Society by Helen Stewart, who is Curious Handmade. I'm sure you've all heard about this shawl club, and she has one shawl out every month for 6 months. And I was very tempted to join at first, but I thought I would never have time to knit up a shawl every month. But then I started seeing the beautiful versions, and I was in need of a treat at the end of July, and so I decided to treat myself to the club and join, and I felt it was actually going to be a lovely way to unwind, to have these beautiful shawl designs to knit, and just the ultimate treat really. And again, at the moment I'm really in a different attitude with my knitting. It's really a question of simply treating myself to some lovely time and just enjoying it, not worrying about having too many whips, all that kind of thing. And so I cast on the first one, and I chose one of my absolutely most precious yarns that I had in my stash. I shopped my stash, which was also lovely, and I used my Adelaide Cottage yarns, my skein of Adelaide Cottage yarns, and she is on Etsy. You can see the address here. This is my friend Shauna, whom I've already mentioned in the podcast today, and this is her MC end base, and it's a Marion colourway. Oh no, it's her pink lemonade colourway. It's a Marion base, and it's her beautiful, beautiful pink lemonade colourway. And this yarn was actually a gift from lovely Shauna, who sent me a beautiful bag and this skein last autumn, I think, actually. And so this is the Talisman shawl by Helen Stewart, and it used exactly a skein of yarn. I actually had to omit a couple of rows because the pattern mentions, requires 400 meters and this is 400 yards, and I kept weighing my yarn to make sure it will be okay, and I realised I would be safe there, omitting a couple of rows towards the end, and so it was just fine this way. I really love this pattern with the star stitch and the edging and the picot lined off, which I really enjoy. I really enjoy picot edgings actually. So yeah, I really love this, and I hope you can see how lovely the yarn is with all these speckles. So it's a warm light pink base with lots of various speckles, yellows and darker pinks, just absolutely lovely. Mauves as well. So this was the ultimate treat to knit up, really. And I knit this when I was at my parents' in northern France in the first 2 weeks of August. And then I started on the second shawl I think about a week ago. And it is so I'm using my beautiful Holland Handmade bag, which I bought from Erin's Etsy shop, Holland Handmade Co. on Etsy. Erin is Mama to Abigail on Instagram and Ravelry. And so I cast on for the amulet shawl, and I'm mid-row because that's the wear all these days. In fact, I was able to knit this number of stitches yesterday. That's how many stitches I managed to knit is this first third of a row. So that gives you an idea of the kind of days I'm having at the moment, which is completely normal and fine, of course. And I wouldn't have it any other way, but yeah. So I just started on the contrasting collar, and so on the lace insert, the first one. And so for this I'm using 2 yarns from Little Yellow Uke on Etsy. Zena, who has a podcast which I absolutely adore. I never miss an episode, and she relatively recently opened an Etsy shop where she sells her hand-dyed yarns, and these are the 2 skeins that I got. So the blue one is Blue Hawaii, and it's a tonal yarn, and this one is I'm Yours, which is inspired by her wedding colours and the song that they had on their first dance at her wedding a year ago. So it's undyed bare base with pink and blue speckles, and the blue, I believe, is really is the same shade, which is why I paired these 2 up. And so I'm using this as the main colour, as you can see, and the other one as the lace contrast. So yeah, it's a very enjoyable project. Garter stitch and a triangular shape, and of course, as always with Helen's designs, it's very well written out, and it's also always very simple but effective shawls, and I really love this. This is really what I'm in need for at the moment. So, and I love the way my bag coordinates with the skeins, really, as you can see. So yes, again, this is bringing me a lot of joy at the moment, and the percentage system that Helen uses is I love it, especially when I have so little time to knit on. I still feel like I'm making some progress thanks to the percentage system. So yeah, and actually the stitch marker the progress keeper that I have here is a little kitty that Zena of the Little Yellow Uke shop and podcast actually sent to me as a gift, and it's just adorable. I love it. A sleeping kitty. Yeah, so that's it for my knitting, I think. So now for crochet. I have nothing to show you for crochet, but I did crochet a large blanket for my dad. And I wanted to get it done before the birth so I could send it out as soon as possible, and I used Drops Big Merino. I will probably be inserting a picture here, even though I don't have really nice pictures because I was in a hurry to send it out. But yeah, I used Drops Big Merino, which is 100% superwash merino. I wanted this to be really warm and cozy, but easy to launder for my mother. And so I used a Ripple, I think it was the Ripple blanket by Lucy of Attic 24. And I used a gradient of blues along with a tan and an ecru colour, and my idea was to emulate a beach really with the sand with the tan colour and then the waves, and between each colour I added some ecru for a nice transition. So I well, you will see on the picture, but I wrote out everything I did in my project page if you're curious, but I didn't want harsh colour breaks, if you want, between the shades, so I interspersed for a gradual transition. I interspersed the last couple of rows and the first couple of rows of each shade with some ecru, and so it kind of looks like, you know, the top of waves, which would be, you know, shining in the sun really. So I'm pretty pleased about it. So it goes from the sand to lightest blue all the way to navy blue. So I'm really pleased about that. And my dad really liked it. He really loves it, and he's really cold at the moment. So for those of you who are new to the podcast or didn't watch the latest podcast, my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer exactly a month before my son was born, and it's a very aggressive kind of cancer. He's very, very poorly, and he's really cold at the moment because of the chemo, so this has really, I'm glad I made this for him. The only problem is I feel my mother doesn't want him to use it because she doesn't want it to be ruined, and I'm just really upset about that. So I keep telling them to use it and not put it in, you know, put it away. So I really hope she's given it to him now, and he can really enjoy it. So now for a bit of spinning. At the beginning of July, I believe, I decided, and of course inspired by the whole Tour de Fleece wonderful activity going on Instagram. Of course I didn't take part this year, but I just got very inspired to spin again. And I decided to treat myself to some fibre from Owl About Yarn, who was kind enough to send the skein of yarn that I showed you earlier. And thank you so much, Jenny, for this beautiful skein. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I decided to treat myself to some of her fibre. She had a 10% discount during Tour de Fleece as well. And I've been wanting to purchase something from her Etsy shop for a while. She's from Wales. She's just a lovely person. And so I got 4 braids of blue shades, and there weren't. She did have quite a few a lot of her fibre was available in, you know, several braids quantities, but none of them was sufficient for me to spin a sweater's worth, and I wanted to spin a small sweater's worth of yarn. So in the end I decided to pair a couple of shades. And so I paired this one, which is a Falkland merino top, which is called Lakeside. Beautiful light blues and turquoise, with a darker blue, which is already all spun up. So these two. So I got a couple of braids each time, so that I have 400 grams. And so these two are spun, and I also spun one of the lighter blues. There you go. So this is this fibre. There you go. So yeah, and so I'm going to 2-ply them together, and I really hope this gives me a nice result. I've never done this before. It's quite an experiment for me. So I really hope I like it, and I want to make myself probably a cropped open cardigan with it. Just a fun project, just again a fun project, having fun spinning this, which is obviously, these are among my favourite colours. I just adore blues, as you can see. Yeah, I'm just, you know, just a very mindless, probably I'm going to knit a very mindless cardigan, just a fun little thing to have and to knit, really. This is really much about the process of it, you know. Yeah. So yeah, it's beautiful fibre. This is Falklands Merino, and the dark blue is Holworth, which is really lovely to spin as well. And yeah, so hopefully I'll manage to spin this last one soon. My son loves to see me spin, to watch me spin, so I typically put my spinning wheel next to his cot when he's awake, so that he can watch the wheel spin, actually. He just loves this. He's pretty much hypnotized by it, really. He loves it. He loves seeing the colours as well, of course. Especially as these are pretty bright and high contrast. So yes, that's it for all of my making, and now I just wanted to share a few of the lovely things that I've been receiving. I won't be sharing all of the beautiful, beautiful gifts that were sent to us because they're all, you know, put away or in use at the moment. But thank you so very much to all of the friends who were kind enough to send beautiful things, knit or crochet things, both for my son and my daughter, which was really lovely as well. She absolutely adores the toys she's been getting. She got 3, an owl by Melinda, the Yarn Woman podcast, the adorable bugle elephant by Gail of the Yarn Yaks podcast, and I've been wanting to knit her this for ages, so now I don't need to anymore, and my hair is crazy. That's life, right? So I don't have to anymore, and it's adorable. It's a rainbow colour. Also, the little owl that Melinda knit is also in rainbow colours, and she adores them. She uses them to go to sleep, and it's just so sweet to see her clutch her little owl or her little bugle when she goes to sleep. Bugle, the baby elephant, is by Susan Clodino, and then my wonderful friend Missy. Hello Missy, she also sent us an amazing package with some flower fairies by from the Flora issue of, I think it's Make magazine. It's absolutely beautiful. It's by Susan B. Anderson. The pattern is by Susan B. Anderson, and again my daughter loves them, and so these are the toys that my daughter got, but my son was completely spoiled as well with beautiful things, cardigans or hats, and toys as well. So thank you so very much to all of you who sent beautiful things for them, really, and to me as well. So Erin, Sylvie, Gail, Melinda, Missy, and I'm sure I'm forgetting people, and that's why I didn't want to do that, because I didn't want someone to feel left out. But I'm so tired these days, and of course I forget about things, and there has been so much going on as well at the moment. But so I just wanted to say thank you for these wonderful, beautiful, thoughtful presents. I got a bit of lovely skeins of yarn as well in the mail lately, very recently. I've been really good lately about, well, good, I mean, I hadn't purchased any yarn in quite a few months. The last thing I purchased was the skeins by Little Yellow Uke, Zena. But at the end of my stay with my parents, I was feeling really down. It was a difficult experience, really. And so I just felt like, and also Seb had been away for a week in Mexico for work, I was so that was obviously very tough because my baby was 1 month old, and yeah, it was really exhausting. I'm very, very glad he managed to go, and it was so important for his work, and I think it's also what marriage is about, isn't it? You know, allowing the other to thrive in his work or any other aspect that is important to him or her, and so making sacrifices towards this. And I'm saying this because our wedding anniversary was during the time that he was away. It was on August 4th. It was our 9th anniversary, wedding anniversary. We've been together for 16 years. And I just reflected on this as he was away. It was really tough for me, but I was at the same time so glad that he was over there and having a wonderful time, and having a very productive time as well. So anyway, but I did feel like I needed a treat at the end of this. And Life in the Long Grass had an update. I've been wanting to try Life in the Long Grass for ages because they're in Ireland. They have a pretty eco-conscious way of dyeing their yarn, and so yeah, I really wanted to try them out, and their colour was amazing. And I was able to catch their update, and I got 3 skeins. I got this, which is Skylight. I think it's one of their new colourways, which is very, very me, with these blues and turquoises. It's just gorgeous. And I got Damask, which is absolutely stunning. And this very much reflects my current palette at the moment, because as I remarked on Instagram the other day, it seems I'm more and more drawn to these soft shades of pink and mauve and taupe. And I think, yeah, that's really the kind of shades I'm after at the moment. I'm needing, you know, my Amulet shawl is very much in this shade, and I love it, I really do. And so I had to get a couple because this just took my breath away when I saw it on the website, so that I can have, you know, either make a nice long large shawl or a garment with it, a small garment. And then I also was able to catch an update from London House Yarns, who makes a lot of you know, themed updates. I know she just did a Pokemon Go update, and she also did Harry Potter inspired yarns. And I got this beautiful variegated yarn from her, which is Arthur and Molly, of course inspired by Harry Potter. And I just, again, love these pinks and purples and mauves and taupes. I really, really love this. So London House Yarns. Kitty. And yeah, I think it's really stunning. It actually goes really, really well with these 2 skeins. So I don't know, maybe I'll use them together, I'm not sure. We'll see. But that's a possibility that I have here. You know, really lovely shades. And actually it also, I think it's pretty much in the same spirit as the Owl About Yarn skein that will be up for grabs in the Sew Along / Quilt Along. And talking of the Quilt Along, again, just this is meant for fun and not huge projects. If you want to make a huge quilt, by all means do. I think Sarah's group is going to focus more on large quilt, but I think, again, anything will go. She just put a podcast episode about it. I haven't been able to watch it yet, but I know whips will be allowed in her group, and on my part, I know we'll be focusing on small project, mug rugs, mini quilts, this kind of thing, really. And on that note, I think I will have to leave you because it's been pretty challenging filming this, so I won't be doing a long life update here. So please do drop by on the Ravelry group or on Instagram and let me know what are your plans for this upcoming autumn or spring. And also let me know if you're interested in this sew-along that we're going to have, this shabby chic, high tea inspired sew-along that we're going to have. I'm so excited about that. I think it's the perfect project to get into, you know, the coziness of autumn for those of us who are in the Northern Hemisphere. And yeah, so do share. I really look forward to chatting with you. And thank you so very much for bearing with me, for being so patient, and also for bearing with me during, again, what must have been a very discombobulated episode once again. So thank you so very much, and I do hope I will be back pretty soon. And in the meantime, do craft things that make you happy, and do take care. Bye!